Did you know that several European countries are tightening their immigration policies in 2025? Which nations are taking action and why? Stick around to discover the top 10 European countries implementing new return policies for immigrants, and what it means for the future of migration in Europe. From economic pressures to border security, the reasons might surprise you. Let's dive in. Country number 10. Denmark has adopted some of the strictest immigration policies in Europe. Deportations have increased by 35% in 2025, focusing on undocumented migrants. The government collaborates with Rwanda for offshore asylum processing. Public opinion in Denmark strongly supports tighter immigration controls. Critics argue that the policies are excessively harsh and undermine human rights. Legal refugees are still offered integration programs, including language training. The government has strengthened border security and increased patrols. Deportation cases are handled quickly to minimize delays. Denmark emphasizes returning migrants to their countries of origin safely and ethically. Agreements with African nations facilitate smoother repatriation processes. Economic challenges have driven Denmark to prioritize resource management. NGOs monitor deportations to ensure compliance with international laws. The policies aim to reduce the strain on Denmark's welfare system. Despite stricter controls, Denmark remains committed to humanitarian principles. Migration continues to be a contentious issue in Danish politics and society. Country number 9. Austria has adopted stricter immigration policies in response to rising undocumented migration. Deportations have increased significantly, with a focus on rejected asylum seekers. Border enforcement along the Alps has been strengthened to curb illegal crossings. Austria collaborates with neighboring countries like Hungary and Slovenia for migration control. Legal refugees are still granted support for integration and housing. The government emphasizes fast-tracking deportation cases to reduce backlogs. Public support for stricter policies is high due to concerns over national resources. Critics argue that the policies risk violating human rights. Agreements with non-EU countries facilitate the return of undocumented migrants. Asylum seekers fleeing war zones remain a priority for acceptance. Austria advocates for a unified European approach to migration challenges. Deportation facilities and procedures have been upgraded for efficiency. NGOs play a role in monitoring deportation cases to ensure fairness. Austria continues to balance security with humanitarian obligations. Migration remains a key political issue in Austria's domestic and international policies. Country number 8. The Netherlands has tightened its immigration policies to address rising public concerns. Deportations have risen by 20% in 2025, focusing on undocumented individuals. The government has streamlined asylum processes to identify valid cases more quickly. Migrants without legal status face fast-track deportation procedures. Agreements with countries of origin ensure smoother repatriation processes. The Dutch welfare system is under pressure from the growing population. Legal refugees continue to receive integration support, including housing and language training. Critics argue that the policies disproportionately target vulnerable groups. Public opinion is split, with debates over fairness and national resources. The Netherlands collaborates with other EU nations to manage migration flows. The government has invested in technology to strengthen border security. Undocumented economic migrants are the primary focus of deportation efforts. NGOs have raised concerns about the speed and transparency of deportation cases. The Netherlands continues to advocate for ethical and humane migration policies. Balancing compassion and practicality remains a central challenge for the Dutch government. Country number 7. Greece, as a frontline country for migrants crossing the Aegean Sea, faces unique challenges. Over 12,000 deportations are carried out annually to manage undocumented migrants. The Greek islands, such as Lesbos, are overwhelmed with refugee arrivals. Greece has strengthened border patrols with support from the EU. Agreements with Turkey aim to return migrants entering illegally. Asylum seekers face stricter vetting processes under the new policies. Deportation cases are expedited to ease overcrowding in detention centers. Greece continues to prioritize war refugees in its asylum decisions. Economic migrants without legal status are the main target for deportation. Public opinion in Greece is increasingly supportive of tighter controls. International organizations monitor deportation practices to ensure compliance with human rights. Greece has called for more EU funding to manage migration effectively. Legal migration pathways remain open for skilled workers and students. The government emphasizes the need for solidarity among EU nations. Greece remains a critical player in Europe's migration management efforts. Country number 6. Spain, a key entry point for migrants from Africa, has revised its immigration policies in 2025. Deportations have increased by 30% to address the rise in undocumented migrants. The Canary Islands remain a hotspot for migrant arrivals via the Atlantic route. Agreements with Morocco and Algeria aim to curb illegal crossings. The Spanish government is focusing on identifying and returning individuals without asylum status. Coastal patrols and surveillance systems have been enhanced. Human rights organizations have expressed concerns about detainment conditions. Spain continues to accept asylum seekers fleeing war and persecution. Fast-track deportation procedures have been implemented to reduce backlogs. Public opinion is mixed, with some supporting stricter controls and others advocating for more leniency. NGOs play a significant role in assisting migrants during deportation processes. Legal pathways for employment-based migration remain open. Spain emphasizes cooperation with the EU for a unified migration strategy. Despite stricter policies, Spain remains committed to humanitarian obligations. The government is working to balance border security with respect for human rights. Country number 5. United Kingdom. Post-Brexit, the UK has adopted a stricter stance on immigration. Deportation rates have risen by 25% in 2025 compared to previous years. The UK collaborates with Rwanda for offshore processing of asylum cases. Undocumented migrants are the primary target of these new policies. Border enforcement has been significantly strengthened. Public opinion is largely supportive of stricter immigration measures. Critics argue that the policies harm the UK's global reputation. Legal pathways for highly skilled migrants remain open. Deportation agreements with other countries expedite the process. The UK emphasizes the need for controlled and legal migration. Refugees fleeing war-torn regions are still given priority for asylum. Asylum seekers face faster processing times to identify valid cases. The government has faced legal challenges to its deportation policies. Public debates highlight the tension between sovereignty and human rights. The UK remains committed to addressing illegal immigration effectively. Country number 4. France faces ongoing challenges with migration, especially in urban areas. The government has implemented stricter laws to manage undocumented migrants. Crackdowns on illegal workers are a central focus of the new policies. Deportations have increased by 25% compared to previous years. Overcrowded migrant camps, like those in Calais, highlight the issue. France works closely with countries of origin to ensure smooth returns. Human rights organizations have criticized the approach as overly harsh. Legal asylum seekers continue to receive support for integration. Public opinion in France is deeply divided on immigration policies. Deportation efforts target economic migrants without refugee status. France maintains its commitment to accepting war refugees. The government aims to address the strain on social housing and services. Increased funding supports faster processing of deportation cases. France calls for a European-wide strategy to manage migration. Balancing security with humanitarian values remains a key challenge for France. Country number 3. Italy serves as a gateway for migrants crossing the Mediterranean. The nation faces unique migration challenges due to its geographic location. Over 10,000 deportations occur annually, with a focus on undocumented individuals. Italy has signed agreements with Tunisia and Libya to manage migration flows. Rescue operations in the Mediterranean continue to save thousands of lives. The government fast-tracks asylum processes to handle applications efficiently. Italy advocates for a unified European approach to migration management. Economic strain and limited resources drive stricter deportation policies. The public supports measures to reduce illegal immigration. Critics argue that these policies undermine Italy's humanitarian legacy. Border enforcement has been increased to prevent illegal entries. Legal pathways for migration remain available to those who qualify. Italy has invested in deportation facilities and transportation systems. Partnerships with NGOs ensure ethical deportation practices. The nation remains at the forefront of Europe's migration debates. Country number 2. Germany, a leader in accepting refugees during the 2015 crisis, is shifting its stance. The government now emphasizes deporting individuals without legal asylum status. Strengthened border controls aim to prevent illegal entries. Over 20,000 deportations are expected annually under the new policies. Germany collaborates with neighboring countries for better migration management. Economic challenges have driven the shift in immigration policies. Social systems in Germany are under pressure from the growing population. Asylum applications are being processed more quickly to identify cases for deportation. Integration programs remain in place for legally approved migrants. Public debates highlight the tension between security and humanitarian values. Germany has been accused of adopting overly strict measures by some organizations. The government insists on balancing public concerns with international obligations. Deportation agreements with non-EU countries streamline the process. Refugees fleeing war zones are still prioritized for asylum. Germany remains committed to finding a fair solution to migration challenges. Country number 1. Sweden is renowned for its progressive immigration policies, but 2025 brings significant changes. The government has implemented stricter measures to address public concerns. Over 30% of asylum cases are now being reviewed for potential deportation. Undocumented migrants are the primary focus of these new policies. Approximately 15,000 people are being returned annually under these measures. Sweden's welfare system is under strain due to housing shortages and unemployment. The policy aims to balance humanitarian efforts with national resources. Legal refugees continue to receive support and integration opportunities. Public opinion remains divided on the fairness of these policies. Human rights organizations have raised concerns about potential ethical violations. The government emphasizes that these actions are strictly legal and necessary. Deportation cases are fast-tracked to ensure efficiency in the process. Collaboration with international organizations helps smooth repatriation. Sweden's focus remains on protecting those in genuine need of asylum. The nation strives to balance compassion with practicality in migration policies. So there you have it, the top 10 European countries sending back immigrants in 2025. From Sweden to the United Kingdom, it's clear that migration policies are evolving rapidly. While some applaud these measures for ensuring national stability, others see them as controversial and in need of reform. What's your opinion on these policies? Do you think they strike the right balance between national security and human rights? Let's discuss in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and hit that subscribe button for more insights into global trends. See you in the next one.